Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Norm, we're all human, buddy.
There you go.
Even I take a day off once in a while.
All
So go
right.
ahead, bro.
Yes, sir. So here we go. I'm going to talk about the stock. I'm going to recap. I was on about a month ago in early January, and I was looking for a big down in the early part of January. It went a little farther than I thought, so I had a clunker in the middle of the month where it kept going down when I thought it was going to kind of go flat. So then the train got back on the track. So here's the bottom
Yeah,
line.
I got out there at 1930. I was short from near the high. I left a lot of chips on the table.
Okay. Anyway, the
I don't.
bottom
I
line.
don't like. I don't like when that happens. How about you?
Oh, I just love losing money. There you go. Or
Well, it's
losing
not
money.
losing money. It's
Okay.
opportunity cost, isn't
There
it?
you go.
Yeah.
Yep. Don't worry about don't look back. Right.
Yeah. Next.
Next. So the bottom line is that I had two sets of key dates. Had you contacted me and gotten the little letter for free, you would have had these dates: January 4th, 5th. These dates, and I also had a planetary index model where I had it plotted out in advance. And so the bottom line was, let's see here, we got it down here so I can find the numbers. Astro key dates, here we go. I hit 5 out of 7 on my Astro dates, so it shows on this S&P chart here. Can you see the S&P chart there,
Yeah.
Dale?
Yeah. And the guy in the
Your
stock
buddy
kit.
there, he got in the stocks not too long ago,
Who is that guy?
some guy who got in the stocks. You get
Oh.
it, Dale? See, he's in
Yeah.
stocks. Yeah.
You know, Norm, it reminds me of the guy who went to the doctor and he had some blood work done. And the doctor comes in, this guy's 92 years old, and said, you know, you tested positive for HIV. And he was in shock. He goes, 92 years old with HIV. And he leaves the doctor's office and he sees his friend. His friend could tell he's very anxious and upset. And he goes, buddy, what's wrong? He goes, I have HIV at 92, and his friend goes, oh, that's nothing. I have IBM from 190.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
All right, go
Okay.
ahead.
And I had some Fibonacci dates here, and the Fibonacci dates hit 4 out of 5. That's 100%. Got lucky. You may remember when I was here last time on your show last time, I talked about in the first week of January, I was looking for a big change in trend for grains, especially soybeans. And you may remember January was a big meltdown month for many commodities, but not for soybeans. The grains bucked the trend, and there's your soybeans. You see the soybean chart at the bottom there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that where it's at now, or is it over the red line now?
I'd have to go look. I think when I last
Okay.
looked, I think it's about up here, somewhere around right around
Wow. So
883.
it broke out. Oh, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, it's
Good
it's a
call.
small breakout, but you still had an uptrend. You could have made some money.
Yeah.
All right, now here's the exciting stuff coming up here. Now I'm going to talk about some of my annual forecast models. Every year I have my February forecast for Fun Fest, where I could pull out some fun forecasting models. I've been reviewing for many years, reviewing the Chinese astrological calendar. And last year we had the year of the wood goat. This is not my work. I go look it up on the internet. I'm not fluent in Chinese astrology, and
This
so
year's the monkey, right? Monkey.
we got the fire monkey. Those monkeys are really tasty over a fire.
Oh, wow. So there's always an adjective associated with it. I never
Right?
knew
It's a
that.
fire monkey.
Okay.
Fire monkey is fire. I think it's supposed to be positive. Last year we had the wood goat, but it was in a fire year. Don't ask me. I have no idea how all this works. I just pull it off the internet.
Right.
And so they told us last year that would be a steady upward year. And I think we know that was not the case. Here's your black bars here, for example, for the Dow Jones, and it was pretty wild and whoopee. And China basically almost melted down the toilet, before the year was out, right? So the point is that the Chinese astrology lately is been pretty much upside down, for the last several years. And so the forecast, we'll be looking at the forecast here in a minute for 2016 and see what they're saying now. Now we also have the January barometer. For those of your folks who don't know, there's something called the January barometer. We're talking about the stock market now. That there's an old Wall Street adage: as January goes, so goes the year. I think this works pretty well for currencies too. If you get my free letter, we'll go through what I call fractals. This is a fractal statement where you take a small piece of something and you just extrapolate out the bigger picture. And so I think this works well for some commodities too. I think my Japanese yen, I've been doing that fractal on that for several years, and I think about 3 years in a row, it's kind of nailed it. So you might want to contact me for that. Anyway, the January barometer for the stock market is how I got started doing this back in the early '80s. And so as January goes, so goes the year. And so if January closes on the original version, if January closes up, should expect an up year, and if January closes down, you should expect a down year. This has worked about 75% of the time since 1950. That's what the statistical analysis is. I didn't do it. I found people who were doing statistical analysis on this, and that's what they got. I've taken it a step further to use it to actually forecast turns during the year with some great accuracy. We also have the Super Bowl indicator. If you're not familiar with that, that's the NFL is divided into two conferences: the NFC team and AFC. If the NFC team wins, that indicates a bullish year, that the market will close higher. And if the AFC team wins, that indicates a bearish year, and the market will close lower. Amazingly, this indicator has an 82% batting average. That's pretty. I don't know too many indicators for any market that are that good.
Yes.
I've now taken it a step further, like the January barometer thing, and fractalized it to where I'm using it to forecast turns during the year. Here's 2015 now. If I scroll the chart down, can you see the whole entire chart there, Dale?
Yes.
Good. So you can see the colored line is what the scoring pattern was for last year's Super Bowl with the Patriots and the Seahawks. And you can see that when we made a high in May, that indicated we'd make a low about September, and then we go back up. If you remember back here in August, in the August-September period, people were calling for the end of the world, literally. Major meltdowns and catastrophes. And Dale, you remember the Shemitah thing and all that stuff,
Yeah.
right? There were some theories out there that we were headed for a catastrophe. I said my models say that we're going back up till December. And that's part of that was based on this model, you see. So now
Mm-hmm.
let's look into the future. Here's the
That's
future.
right.
So here's your 2016 Super Bowl forecast.
I
And
love the
so
future.
we're going to spend the rest of our lives there.
Good one.
Better like the future, right? So here you go.
Or
So you got your January barometer. If you paid all attention to the stock market, we had a sharply lower January, and that it forecasted. Now I'm getting to the point where I'm sort of interlacing these two models. That the January barometer can forecast the Super Bowl, not only the stock market, but also who's going to win the Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl and both the January barometer are forecasters for the coming year. So the fact that we had a sharp down January indicated that the Denver Broncos and the AFC team should win, and that's what happened.
yeah, did you
Okay,
bet it? Did you bet the game?
but where would I go to bet it? I don't live in Vegas, right?
Oh, online with
Huh?
a maybe
I,
with
I,
a neighbor, with a neighbor.
Congress got rid of most of that, didn't they?
I don't know.
Uh,
I'm sure. I'm sure you could have found the bookie.
but this is kind of the early stages of does the January barometer, how often can the January barometer forecast the Super Bowl? So I'm getting excited here now. This thing seems to be working pretty well. So
Well, did you back test it and see if
Well,
go
they've
back to?
individually they've been doing a great job of forecasting the stock market, but I don't think
Yeah,
anybody ever applied one to the other. You see what I mean?
yeah, that is a new twist. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like Chubby
okay,
Checker, right?
yeah.
The twist, right? Okay.
So here we
Anyway, so
go.
that's the exciting thing I'm working on now. Kind of an neat experiment. So we're able to forecast, and also the scoring pattern of the Super Bowl, of this year's Super Bowl, should be indicative of what the stock market will do for the year. So I think we had the initially until the end of the right, but near the end of the game, you had Denver kind of peaked its momentum. During the game, if you apply that to the year, would be somewhere in August, and then the Carolina mounted a bit of a rally there, yeah, and so but then at the in what would be toward the end of the game, Denver scored, so that we went back, back in Denver's favor. So that kind of gives you a general idea of what the course
Okay,
of the
so
market
yeah,
is.
Denver was in the lead. They jumped out to an early lead. They held
Right.
it, wrapped it up at the end of the year. So bearish forces will be prevailing, according to this, into the August time frame. Then we get maybe the a rally into the election, and then it's back down again.
Yes, sir. That's it. So I have
Okay,
these charts
interesting.
in my, I have these charts available. I do want to save some time and energy, and also give people an incentive to contact me because I like to meet people. I'm a people person, and so you can contact me, and we can look at some charts. Coming up here on the planets, we have today, this afternoon, and tonight, especially tonight, is probably the biggest single planetary event of the month. Saturn and Pluto are going to line up. I think that happened on Pearl Harbor Day in December of 2015. If you remember, Dale, that was a big turning point for about 5 or 6 different markets. And also in late August, we had this, I think the August 24th, we had a big meltdown in the stock market in August of 2015, and the low coincided with this a relative of the Saturn Pluto lineup.
So we could be close to at least a
We could get
bear
a
market
well,
rally in
problem.
equities.
Yeah,
Bear market rally.
we could get a short term low here. I got a problem though, and I got more negative stuff coming after this, so I think we might
Okay.
get a short term
How
low
about
here.
bonds, Norm? Bonds have been on a big run. I know you have a
Well,
bond
there
fractal.
this is also a bond aspect. The planets are indicating a turn in the bond, so you might get a short-term turn in the stocks and the bonds. And also, we have indicated here coffee, big time for coffee because it's a double whammy for coffee. Oh, I missed cocoa, coffee, hogs, oats, stocks, and T-bonds are all indicated for this window. So I think you might get at least a short-term turn for these markets, and then for the stock market and perhaps the bonds, you might then get a continuation.
Okay.
Hold on, somebody's. I don't know why somebody would be calling me now, but
Donald Trump.
I guess I took care of it.
Okay.
Somebody just got hung up on. All right, so that's the big one. That's why I'm on today, because we got the big Saturn Pluto thing happening. Now they're doing it again. Now I can't believe it. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Alrighty, moving ahead now. Here's the stocks. Here's your 30-minute S&P 500. By the way, how about these whipsaws in the stock market? I don't know if you're watching that or not,
Yeah.
but just overnight we were down big until about 1 or 2 in the morning, about down about 20 handles or so, and then we rallied all the way back up to even, and now we're back down about 20 plus handles.
Yeah. Volatile.
It's crazy. So here's your future dates. Here's what the forecast is. I got it down into down, down, down. I have my planetary index chart in the letter. You can get that. You get the letter for free if you contact me. We had a big window coming due for the fourth of the fifth, based on my Fibonacci models. And here's the S&P chart here. I put a nice red arrow there right for the morning of the 4th where we had this little top here. Does my arrow working? There we go. There's my
Yeah,
cursor right
that's a
there.
nice.
Can you see
That's
my
pretty nice.
cursor
Yes.
right about there? And
Uh-huh.
so you can see how we've been going down. So I'm looking for a possible short-term low here by tomorrow. And then we got some key dates here. We got let's see, the 8th, the 10th. That's tomorrow. And then we have a big cluster for the president Monday after the President Day. And then here's my Fibonacci dates. We have the next big date for the Fibonacci is President's Day weekend. So a big cluster there, President's Day weekend to the first day or so after. And then we also have Fibonacci tipping its hat for my birthday there on the 17th. That's why we're getting the day off, because of my birthday. All righty, Dale. Now here I
Okay.
always throw in some currency stuff for your folks. Here
Okay.
we go. We have how did that work out last month? Well, we had 3 dates. No, I'm sorry, we had these dates: 4th, 11th, 15th, 19th, and 27th, 29th after the close. Obviously, when I wrote this letter last, what was it, the weekend of the what was that, the 20th, 27th weekend, 27th, no, 28th, 29th weekend. Sorry about the 29th weekend. There wasn't enough information to tell whether it was working or not on these very end dates, but I was able to evaluate the other dates, and so we hit 4 out of 5. So I evaluated the first 5 of these and hit 4 out of 5, 80%. That's pretty good. Going to have to work on that miss, huh?
Did you
And then we
catch
have
the
the
cell before it? Did you catch the cell before it broke down out of that little minor uptrend it was in? That would have
uh,
been
this is back. This is from
last week's.
this chart's from the letter. This is the results chart.
Okay.
Which was in the letter at the end of January. From the end of
Okay.
January.
Okay.
Here's the updated chart here. I just show you here. I marked these dates on the chart here so you can see whether you would have had a chance to make some money or not. These green arrows are winners. So that's at the low of the channel there. There's at the low of the channel there. This is near a little like 1 day high there at a little spike pullback low next day. And here's a
Yeah.
low there, you see. Here's
Yeah.
the updated chart. I did put in this last night. So we had this was a date we had. Oh, back on the 1st of February was one of these dates. You see that?
Okay. So you did have a
First,
date for the big decline.
first we had a topping, a pattern there for a wedge triangle pattern
Yeah.
right there, and we broke to the downside there. Here's a
Yeah.
nice turn we had here yesterday, Monday, where we
Yeah.
had a turn due there, and for the 8th, and it kind of topped out there, and I think we're lower this morning, aren't we?
Yeah.
When I looked a little while ago, I think we were down about 40 cents or so, 40,
Yeah.
45 cents, right?
Yep.
Moving on down here now. Now it's time to tell folks how to get all the free stuff.
Okay.
And so you can get my letter for free and a free class that goes with that. It's a 3-hour class. You'll get a virtual a trader's college education. I'm going to cover Astro, Advanced Fibonacci, GAN, fractals. I will probably touch on some theoretical physics, some music theory, all kinds of things. Again, some kind of thing that GAN might have designed. And we touch on all that. You get all that in about 3 hours, and my letter for free, and how to read my letter. And all you got to do is contact Norm at I'm here in sunny but chilly Florida today at 239-594-3939. That's 239-594-3939. Or all those international jet setters can contact me on Skype at norm.winski. That's norm.winski. And I think, here's my email. If you'd like to contact me, my email might be better. I'm going to be out this later today, so if you try to get me, and probably might be best for email. Then my email is nwinski. That's NWINSKI at embark is EM like Edward Mary, BARQ like root beer, and then mail.com. That's Winski at mparkmail.com. So, any questions, Dale? Or I take questions from your folks if
Let me
you
see.
they want to
Any
do that.
questions for Norm? Any questions for Norm from the community before we thank Norm for being with us today? Let's give it a second or two. There's a little bit of a delay. Any questions? Ricardo, Sinatra, Alien, Luimo, Jake, any planetary questions for Norm or what he's described?
You got Sinatra in the group there.
Yeah, I
I love
believe he's from
I love
Germany.
I love Sinatra.
What's the weather like on Mars, Norm?
I
Fine.
haven't checked lately. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I could say
SW, I would say that pay attention to some of these dates, and I really have seen many of these turning points manifest. Any other questions? How is gold developing? Gold has been the star norm for the last month or so. Best rally we've seen in gold in a long time. Kind of moving counter trend to the stock market. Any view?
I just do what the planets tell me, and the planets did not have any strong indications for gold this month, so I didn't. It's on. I cover about 30 markets on my calendar, but I did not write about it or go into depth on the gold this month. I
How does
tried.
the full? Do you take the moon into account on your planetary work? Full moons
Only if you're short-term trading.
only for short-term trading, Ron. Okay. Thank you
But
very
I
much,
understand.
Norm.
I had a friend who did a statistical study on the lunar cycle. He was a skeptic, and he applied that to currencies, and he said that several of the currencies, I think especially the yen, was very responsive to the lunar cycle.
Okay, I'm not sure what your question is, Rick. Okay, he's looking for a turning point in the market in the next couple days. Oh, okay. And you think that a short-term low is coming in the next couple days in the stock market?
No, I think
That's
it's
what I
going to
would.
be. If it doesn't work by tomorrow, it's not going to work.
Okay, so Norm gives his dates a 24-hour tolerance.
Right, exactly. My parameter is for me to be right. When I was showing you the score on my forecast, if it's not right within one trading day, it's wrong.
Okay, great clarity.
Yeah,
Norm,
because otherwise,
Norm, yeah,
how can you manage these trades? You know.
that's true. But you know, almost everything. I don't care what you use. One of my expressions is, if you can't be wrong for a day, how can you be right for a week?
Okay.
So, thanks so much for bringing your stuff to the table. Very interesting. I like the analog of using how the game progressed to kind of look ahead to what might be periods of weakness and periods of strength in the stock market. Never heard that before. Very original thinking, Norm, and thanks for sharing it here with us on FX Street in LAR.
Thank you very much, Dale. Great being on the show, and good trading, everybody out there, and have a great day. I'm
Okay, thank you, Norm. Good,
looking forward
good
to helping.
hunting. I'll see you next month, God willing, right?
Righto, looking forward to helping some of your folks.
So I encourage people to get a hold of Norm at